there you, and welcome to another absolute slaughter that we have for you today. Now, in our last episode, the Orks managed to crush all the Imperial defense lines. Now the Orks look upon Hive Mazus as the next prize target. The men and women of the Astra Militarum stand ready to defend their streets against the brutish Orks. Will the Emperor's wrath prevail, or will the Hive fall silent under the Green Horde? Let's find out. And as always, if you do enjoy this content, do leave a like and consider subscribing. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. The assault on Hive Mazus begins. The Orks are ready. The Imperial artillery is already opening up and sending Orks rocketing into the air. Oh, that is absolutely fantastic stuff, leaving gigantic gaps in the horde here that are instantly filled in by more and more boys as they get ready. Look at this over here. The entire Imperial line is ready and waiting, holding at these outer edges here. They're hoping really to get the Orks stuck here, using these walls to exploit the weaknesses here of the assaulting melee units. There's going to be a heavy concentration here. After all, this is St. Mazus Square. They must hold it at all costs, ladies and gentlemen. As our first missile systems start going up, we can see, look at that gigantic horde in the background. Mortars, tank rounds, everything that the city has is now starting to annihilate the front Ork lines, who are going to actually making their way down the main thoroughfare here. Look at this. Orks on the road. Unfortunately, we've got no war trucks or anything like that yet for the Orks. We are working on it bit by bit. But as we get more and more units, these battles are going to get crazier. Speaking of crazy, the Imperial front lines now are opening up as the Orks are starting to feel the wrath. Already 23,000 have been killed, and that's not even including environmental kills. But of course, the real frenzy will start when the Orks actually get towards the Imperial line. We can see that we've got a couple of Death Corps over here making their way up to the front. They don't want to get left out of the fight at all. They're going to help and try hold the flanks here against the encroaching Orks, who are now storming through the outer belt forest here, about ready to clash. Oh my god, they're taking so many losses already. 56,000 of them here as the first Orks come in to clash with the Imperial Guards. Oh no, they haven't quite made it yet, and there we go. The first Ork chopper has slammed down on an Imperial Guardsman, just splitting his head in half there. I do not think an Imperial Guard helmet would be able to withstand the British raw power of an Ork. Sometimes, you know, I actually wonder why Imperial Guard bother wearing armor at all, because it just seems like every other gun, bar the Imperial guns, will kill you. I suppose it'll save you against things like Renegade Chaos Gunners, but yeah, against most things like Orks and bolt rounds, it's not really going to do much. Speaking of not doing much here, look, the front lines of the Imperial Guard just completely collapsing under the weight of the Ork advance here. The choppers and storm boys just annihilating those who are stuck on the outside of the wall. Though they are providing a valuable role, even though they're getting chewed up pretty damn quickly, that gives the artillery in the background plenty of time to send more Orks flying through the air. And they're actually doing a good job here of keeping the advance from going forward. Let's have a look over this side though. Yeah, look at this. Anyone who was on the outside of the wall, completely dead. The Orks here now starting to mound up their dead to push beyond the walls. This is largely going to have to be the Ork tactic, because for some reason they can't seem to climb over this wall. I mean, it's almost the same size as an Ork. A human, okay, maybe a little bit of a struggle with all that equipment, but an Ork, no, he should be able to climb over there. So instead, they're just going to pile up the bodies, and they're going to do it the good old-fashioned way. Oh my god, look at all them Orks just pouring over the breach there. Let's get back over to our main thoroughfare. How are the Orks doing over here? Well, you can see that they are actually making advances. They're starting to push past the perimeter wall here, though. As they push further and further in, they are going to come under increasing firepower on our front line here. We can see loads of blood has already been spilled. Little Timmy is going to be extremely happy by this. You can see, though, look at these Orks here. As they get hit by the artillery, they get flung into the middle of Imperial lines, and some of them are actually surviving and killing the Imperials as they land. Look at this. We had a couple of Orks land here, and they just decimated the Imperials they landed next to. Oh my god, this Ork assault is absolutely frenzied. They're just pushing forward. Look, they've annihilated this right-hand flank over here. It's just been completely decimated, though they're struggling a bit now, because once again, they are being limited by the amount of troops that they can get through because of the walls. We can see a lot of gunners now are starting to also pile up outside the walls. The gunners for the Orks can shoot over the wall, So it's going to have an interesting dynamic there. Are the Imperials going to be able to kill enough of the melee troops and enough... Oh my god, look at all these orcs. Enough of the shooters to be able to hold back here. Now these points here are going to be absolutely brutal. It's going to be hotly contested because as soon as the orcs start start pushing past these areas, is what I'm trying to say, is that's when the Imperials are really going to start feeling it. Like this here, look at that. The orcs now have successfully managed to push over this little area and are now just cutting right into the Imperial flank. We can see on the background over here where the orcs are pushing through little alleyways any way they can, really. Let's go down one of these and have a look. Yeah, oh no, Imperials caught in a sandwich here. Oh, that's absolutely devastating. The orcs just charging them either side here. There's going to be a lot more trouble taking the center. There's an entire squadron of... an entire regiment here, sorry, of Acadian gunners that are holding the center, and they are not going to go down without a fight at all, which is exactly what the orcs want, realistically. Let's have a look at our front line over here, where thousands of orcs are dying every second, and Imperial Guardsmen. We can see the missile systems there really working in overtime. The orcs haven't piled up enough bodies yet to really start jumping over this wall, but they are getting pretty dang close to it. Look at the main thoroughfare over here. It's holding strong. We must hold St. Mizzou Square at all costs here, and the Imperials are doing that. This intersection here is just a swarm of death. Oh, I absolutely love it here. But the orcs have still got 1.7 million ready to push in as the more and more shooters start rallying up here on the outer edges. Oh, I absolutely love it. You've got to love a good old orc horde. And you can see that the shooters are dealing with the Imperials here, who are raining down death from the top of these high rises. To be honest, though, I don't know. I don't think I'd like to be up here. I mean, personally, I'm scared of heights. So, you know, that to me is horrified alone. But yeah, I mean, at least you're sort of out the way of the orcs, but you're also sort of stuck if they come up the staircase towards you. But you've also got a really nice overwatch. But then again, that's a horrific sight to see. It's probably morale destroying, actually, seeing that many orcs, at least on this ground here. All you can see is the piles of dead that you're causing, and the occasional stalk boy comes riding over the front line into the middle of the group. Oh my god, look at that! Oh my, there's so many orcs getting flung through the air. It's absolutely fantastic. Have we got a dead orc? We have. We've got a dead orc up here. He died mid-flight, ladies and gentlemen, and he decided this was his final resting place. He's been taken by Gork or Mork, one of the two. But yeah, look at this. We're actually starting here. Look. We're starting to build up bodies over the wall, which means the orcs will be able to start pathing into that corner pretty damn soon. Oh my god, I mean, I don't know if it's going to help them with the amount of artillery that's going off. We'll have to see, though, with the increased amount of shooters lining up. Shooters tend to take out the artillery because of, I don't know, it's just... Bullets have almost infinite range on this, so even if you set the shooter's range to really small and they get to the front line and shoot a few bullets, there's still a chance they can destroy the artillery. It's a bit weird, so I just like to think that the artillery crew got shot. It wasn't that the artillery gun blew up, it's just the crew died. Speaking of dying, look at this. They're so close here now to getting this turned into an actual pathable pathway here for the orcs. Any second now, a few more died here, and they'll just start storming down this area towards the Imperial line, and that'll open up an entire new frontier, because, like I said, the wall is largely keeping them at bay at the moment. Really good tactic here by the Imperials. We can see all the artillery in the background just nailing this section here. We'll go have a look at the flanks, actually, see how we're doing over here, because they were really making good progress before, but it does appear that they're slowing down again. Yet again, getting to these intersections on the main square where all the defenders are. Oh, the camera decides to pop up there, and you can actually see that the orcs really struggle again because we're not actually killing orcs here, which is really good because that means they can't pile up the bodies and get more forces through. That's actually really good. The orcs have undone themselves realistically by pushing so effectively on the flank. They've actually limited the amount of numbers that can come through here. Oh my god, this is it. There we go. It just happened. Literally that second there, we can see the orcs are now just storming over that one area. The Imperials opening up an entire new line, and bit by bit that's just going to get wider and wider, and it's just going to allow more and more orcs through. Let's go over to the other side actually, see how we're getting on over here. Yeah, so something similar's happened now at this gate over here. You can see that the amount of dead has just piled up over the gate. We still haven't got this corner connected yet, so that's something for the Imperial defences. But yeah, this artillery scattering the storm boys everywhere is really taking an effect on the Imperial lines. You can see that they've fallen back just a little bit from this main area here, but they are still holding. The Ork bodies are starting to pile up ridiculously high. I thought for a second he was on top of a light post. Dead. I was going to say that's amazing. Ignore the big floating character up there. It's part of an error with the mods. Not much I can do about it. He's just there ominously in the background. But the Orks assault so far has been absolutely halted in its tracks by just the sheer overwhelming firepower of the Imperials here. However, I do think little Timmy is going to have a little bit of a say over here, because look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The blood is starting to pool up here. The Imperials are going to be at risk of drowning themselves, because the blood's got nowhere to go, because they've dammed themselves in. They've got a wall behind them here, and all around them, and all the bodies are piled up here now, so they're just going to drown themselves in Ork blood eventually. You can see that the assault over here now, that has widened, is starting to have a little bit of an effect over here. Let's go over to our flanks again. See if any more Orks have pushed further around. God, there's so much blood. Okay, so it does look like we've got a little trickle of Orks coming in from the side over here. Just a couple of knobs by the looks of it. Nothing too... Okay, there was a couple of knobs, nothing too worrying, as a bloody Lehman Russ tank there just annihilates them all. Let's go back over to this side, see if there's anything over here. Okay, so, yet again, Orks are pushing into this area, but are severely limited by the avenues of attack, because none of the bodies have piled up on the outer wall. Really good news for the Imperials, which means that they could probably hold this area quite indefinitely at the moment, especially, look at this. Oh my, we've got a Lehman Russ wall at the front here. Just hundreds of Ork knobs charging down the streets. This one's destroyed. But yeah, oh my. Imperial rounds just flying down the alleyways here as well. Annihilated everything. Look at this. There's a tank and a dumpster over here. I don't know what is going on. It's crazy street fighting everywhere you look. Let's go back to our front line though, because this is the real spectacle, isn't it really? In fact, you know what? It's so much of a spectacle. I think we're going to hit a cinematic camera. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Only 235,000 Orks are remaining. Look at this front line. It's an absolutely disgrace of dead bodies and mangled Orks. There is so much blood that has been spilt at the moment. It's absolutely ridiculous. Look at this. We've actually made a damn reservoir of blood here. The Orks, still relentless in their assault though, are still pushing forward. Look, there's not even an outer wall left anymore. The bodies have piled up so high. This is absolutely ridiculous. We've actually made an iron curtain outer wall out of Ork bodies. That is exactly what's happening though. It's protecting the rest of the Orks behind it now from artillery fire. Unfortunately for the Orks on the front line, that means they are the new focus of any artillery fire, and they are being absolutely devastated here by the controlled firepower power coming out of the Imperial Guard. You can see they're still not having any luck on these flanks over here. Again, thanks to the amount of walls that are actually just limiting their ability to push these flanks. Over on the far side, they have had a little bit more success. They managed to get, look at this, a large group of knobs keep swinging around at this outer edge here and trying to attack the rear. However, the Death Corps of Krieg here, standing ready and defiant to take them on. Look at them backpedaling for victory, guys. Come on, get them shovels out, show them all to a boss. Oh, there's an artillery shell just lands right in the middle of the Orks there. They were back, if you noticed, a lot of them actually survived that. Blood really does seem to be over every surface of the city at the moment. Look at this. Every single street is just covered in gore. And it's mainly Ork gore, let's face it. 42,000 kills to the Orks at the moment. And yeah, the Imperials now just mopping up, I would actually say. The Orks managed to break through the first two defense lines here, but unfortunately they just didn't have enough of an assault to continue here on into the Hive. Again, they really needed vehicles, killer cans, war trucks, all sorts of support in place for this. However, the Warhorde got a little bit ahead of itself, and none of the other vehicles could make it towards them in time. As such, the Storm Boys and the Choppers now just feeling the full brunt of the Imperial Guard's defensive weaponry. And my god, have they got some defensive weaponry here. Orks, just look at them. They can't even make it over the top of the dead comrades now. They're just dying on top of them. They can't even get close to the streets of the Imperial Guard. The Cadians here and the conscripts holding it firmly against any of the resistance. Yeah, look, the Orks are actually starting to peter out. Oh my god. The Orks are not going to be able to do this. They've only got 75,000 units left, and they're mainly all over here. In fact, this entire flank has just collapsed for the Orks. There's no more Orks pushing this area, but this does give us a really nice look at this body pile. Look at that. Oh, that is absolute... You know, here's a comparison. Here was the wall that was stopping them from getting in before. And there's the body pile. Oh my god, that's like, what? A 3-story high body pile. That's insane. That's taller than most houses. And not only that, it goes across the entire front end of the park. Oh, well, at least we have held at Mezu Square for now. I mean, I don't know what the Orks are going to do in this situation, because they are just flinging themselves over the top, not realizing. I think that's part of it as well with the Orks here. You got to think these Orks here just think there's a really good fight waiting for them as they come over the top, and they get to the top of it and then it's just dead. It's all over in a matter of seconds. They don't even realize what hit them. I was actually hoping that the flanks over here would be a bit more effective, but yeah, look at this. They're having to now bring these troops from the flank back round to the main line here, just to be able to even start to push this again. Oh my god. Okay, well, I think what I'll do very quickly is hit a time-lapse camera, because these Orks are just going to take a little while to filter through here, and I want to see what the end result is. We'll be back in a second. Here we are then, ladies and gentlemen, back with our last 700 Orks trying to push into this area, and they've just got absolutely annihilated. 500 Orks left. Look at this body pile over here. It's absolutely stupendous, and it does look like then that the Imperial Guard have successfully held Mezu Square against the gigantic Ork war. Oh my, oh my. I do think, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end this one here. As always, I do hope you had a blast. I know I did. Please do comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. A massive shout out to all our channel members who helped keep this channel going. And if you're not a channel member, why the heck not? Click the join button below. And as a reward for being a channel member, your bonus content is now available, so go ahead and check that out. And if you're interested in a Warhammer podcast, go ahead and check out Aquilacast. Links in the description below. With all that being said, as always, until next time, peace.